AM 1230, 93.3 FM, KTRF, online, trfradio.com, 9:48. Time for this morning's Mark Allen's Hometown Heroes, brought to you by Oakley Quilting Supply, by Roxbury Truck Repair, Phillips Iron and Metal, and the Thief River Falls Regional Airport. And joining us in studio this morning is Susan Halverson, who is with us. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Nice to have you in. Are you a little nervous being on the radio?
Well, I've been when they were doing tours of the jail. So I've done that before, but this is the first time on the radio, yes.
You just recently retired from the jail, right?
Actually, I'm not officially done until July 31st, but I'm on vacation until then.
Okay. So technically not till the end of the month then.
Correct.
Okay. We're going to go back. We'll find out a little bit about Susan. Tell us a little bit about where you were born, where you're from, where you grew up.
I'm a Grigla native and graduated from Goodridge and then graduated from Concordia and then ended up back in Thief River.
Okay. And when did you come back to Thief River Falls then?
I came back in 77.
Okay, 1977. Now, did you go right to you are a jail administrator or were jail administrator?
Yes.
Did you go right to the law enforcement or what?
No, I worked for the Times for about 2.5 years, and then I worked for Arctic. And I happened to hit Arctic about the time they did their massive layoff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then I worked for Forsberg's for a few years. And then they did their massive layoff. And after that, I went to law enforcement.
Okay. What got you to the law enforcement? What drew you there?
When I was laid off from Forsberg's, I was pregnant with my second baby. And I took a job as a dispatcher jailer because it was the first job I could find after she was born. She was about 5 months old. It was the first job I could find that paid enough for daycare.
Okay.
And it was a temporary stint.
Temporary?
Because I did not want to be doing rotating shifts with two little toddlers, toddler and a baby. And it turned into a little more than temporary.
Yeah, what about 35 years or so? All right. You got involved. Now, you were telling me something interesting that some of the older folks may remember a name that you could throw out that hired you.
Charlie Richards hired me. And I am the last person working that he actually hired.
Mm-hmm. And for those that don't know who Charlie Richards was.
Charlie Richards was sheriff for about 30 years. I think at the time that he retired, he was the longest serving sheriff in the state. And he was an absolute phenomenon. I could not have had a better person to train me in. When Charlie died, he had people from all over the country. He had people from Alaska, from Wyoming, from Florida, from everywhere that came back for his funeral. That man had that much respect.
Yeah.
And in the way that he trained his employees, his staff, was that you are a public servant and this is how you do the job, and your job is important.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, but I think we've kind of lost some of that today a little bit.
I think that overall, personal communication has dwindled. And, you know, when I have people with my own staff, I'll get comments when somebody goes over and above to be a good employee that actually makes the people they're dealing with feel comfortable. Because in our profession, people generally don't feel comfortable, even if you're a teacher that needs fingerprints for a job application. The first time you go in to be fingerprinted, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you do need that.
Mm-hmm. Our guest today, Susan Halverson, on our show today, we're going to continue. We're going to ask her a little bit about some of her memories as the jail administrator. I want to let you know that Oakley Quilting Supply is here, of course, for all your quilting lines that include Henry Glass, Moda Quilting, Treasures, and many more. And they're, of course, adding new fabrics all the time at Oakley Quilting. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to noon. Roxbury Truck Repair, Truck Shop, Truck and Trailer Maintenance and Repair, Roxbury Truck Repair. Phillips Iron and Metal, they accept all ferrous and non-ferrous metals, including but not limited to stainless steel, copper, brass, aluminum, lead, insulated wire, nickel, high-temp alloys, precious metals, etc. Whether you bring the material to us or we bring us to you, we provide quality service at competitive pricing. And, of course, the Thief River Falls Regional Airport with hassle-free security and free parking. Be sure to check out the benefits of flying local. Thief River Falls Regional Airport, your front door to the rest of the world. Our guest, Susan Halverson. And, Susan, tell us a little bit about the years of jail administrator and how some things changed, or some of the things you remember, highlights of your long career.
Well, one of the things that I want to tell you, I started when we were a 15-bed jail, and we were dispatch jail, both. So you would handle all of the calls. It was prior to 911. You would go in the jail, do your jail checks. Jail checks were once every hour was all that was mandated.
Checking on all the inmates. Okay.
That's all that was mandated by the Department of Corrections at that time. And whatever phone calls came in, we were basically the center for giving out calls to the officers, but also for records for all of the office staff.
Okay.
But one of the numbers that we had on our call list, if you remember back in the 70s, this was somewhat of a hotbed for alien activity. We had a UFO hotline to call when we got calls of strange flying objects. So I don't think that's on the call list anymore.
Do you ever remember using it?
I do not, but I do remember people making comments. Yes.
Any idea? Do you recall what year that went away?
I don't know.
In the 80s, maybe, or don't recall.
I started in '84, and it wasn't really. I don't remember anybody ever using it when I was there. But I know that it was pointed out to me that if you ever get this call, here's the number that you contact.
Interesting. And of course, we did have more activity, seems like, back then.
There were a lot of reports back then, yes.
Yeah. We don't know why, but it was. And you, of course, it's a tough job, a jail administrator, because you don't deal with the average person off the street. You deal with those that are there for a reason.
We deal with broken people. And I think that's one of the things that everyone needs to remember, that they're at a season in their life where they're struggling. And, you know, our mission statement for the jail is to offer inmates the opportunity to improve themselves. It's to provide a safe, secure, and humane environment for inmates, staff, and the public, while offering inmates an opportunity to improve themselves. And I think one of the things that we see, especially with people that have been there and spent some time so that they're detoxed, and you know, yes, it's a much tougher crowd now, but there are still good things inside of people that you try to emphasize, and some of the programs are very worthwhile.
Sounds like you have compassion. You have to. I'm guessing you have to have compassion, but you have to be stern yet too, don't you?
You have to have consistency along with that. You have to have people following the rules. But I know that when we moved into the new facility, we had the goal of keeping it clean, nice. It's going to stay this way, and everybody will make their beds every morning. And I had one person this was prior, we were kind of trying to get them trained before we moved. And I had one person that when I went back, and he's like, well, how's my bed? And he said, yeah, it's better. It still needs a little work. And he goes, I've never made a bed before I came here. and then he said, actually, I've never had a bed before I came here.
Oh.
And that's the reality that I think people miss. What I grew up with was so far removed from the environment. One of the hardest things with my job that I've dealt with in recent years is seeing the babies of the people who were babies visiting their family when I started.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so generational, and it's so sad.
Yeah, that is. Susan Halverson is our guest today. We're running out of time here real quick. Susan, what I'd like is if there's people out there that have interest in doing something like you've done with jail administration or being involved in any way, what kind of advice would you give them if they wanted to get into that field?
Have a good heart and do not take it personally. You cannot take personal offense at what happens in the jail. I mean, there's ugly things that happen. Mm-hmm. You have somebody that assaults you or tries to assault you. You have somebody that will throw urine on you. You have nasty things associated with this job. And people really need to appreciate the role that corrections officers play. But just realize that this is a job, this is a point in life that they're at, and then leave it at work.
Have you also seen people come out of that situation and straighten themselves out?
I have, and I think that's what makes it rewarding.
That there's a silver lining in some of them, maybe.
There aren't enough success
probably.
stories, but I'll give you an example. Just a month or so ago, somebody that had been on a 1-year sentence had done sentence to service, so he got out quite a bit earlier than that. But I'm in Walmart, and he's about 4 aisles down, and Susan! And he calls me over because he wants to introduce me to his wife and his little girl.
Oh, okay.
And that's the impact that we have. There are people that don't know what it's like to be treated with respect.
Those are the feel-good stories.
Yes, they are.
There's a few of those
and
out there.
And they are there.
Yeah, that's good. Susan, thanks so much for stopping in. We're already out of time, but I appreciate you coming in. Thank you for all of your years of service as well. And what are you going to do with your retirement now? You already took me a while to get you on here because you're already busy.
I don't have any immediate plans. I said I'm not even going to consider doing anything else in the work line until winter, and then it's iffy.
Oh, okay.
I'm enjoying this time now.
Good. Enjoy it. Susan, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Susan Halverson, our guest on Hometown Heroes today, brought to you by Oakley Quilting Supply, Roxbury Truck Repair, Phillips Iron and Metal, and the Thief River Falls Regional Airport.